Look, gang, it's another day in the life with your boy, Sugama and Onnat. We are in CDL school, week 2, day 1 of the week. It's Monday. We got 2 weeks left, man. We getting in gear. We just dropped that bag down, man. That's right. We just dropped that bag down for CDL school. We halfway through, man. It cost a pretty penny, but you know what? You got to invest in yourself, dog. You got to invest in yourself. So, you know, I could have did a lot of stuff with that bread, but today, unfortunately, but today I want to drop that bag down on CDL school, invest into the brand. You want to get somewhere, you got to invest into the brand. So anyways, today we're going to start on my pre-trip, and I've been studying. I got like 2 weeks left to get this pre-trip down, and I'm getting it. I'm a little rusty, but I'm getting it. So I'm gonna start with y'all today on the pre-trip. All right, under my truck, there are no leaks or puddles, and the front end is sitting level. Boom. To the top of my truck, we have marker lights properly secured to the top of the cab, amber in color, not bent, broken, no wires showing, clean and clear of debris. Right here, we got my high-low beams securely mounted to the cab, clean, clear of debris. We got the high-low beams and multi-purpose light, which is an amber of color, clean, clear of debris, not broken, clear, and no wires showing. Also here, we have another on the fender. We have another multi-purpose light, which is clean, clear of debris, amber in color, no wires showing. Moving on to the back of my bed, we have exhaust mounted correctly to the frame with the proper nuts, bolts, clamps. Also, there are no bent or illegal welds, cracks, or leaks. Moving over, that exhaust hose is ran under the hood to the turbo correctly with the correct nuts, bolts, clamps, and has no leaks, cracks, illegal welds, or leaks, cracks, proper butts and nuts, and clamps. Here we got the gas tank properly mounted and secured to the frame with the proper nuts and bolts, and straps to secure it to the frame with the proper nuts, bolts, and straps. Okay. Also, we got the fuel tank. That's why I said we got the diesel tank. To be more specific, we also got the fuel lines securely mounted to the fuel tank with the proper nuts, bolts, clamps, and hoses, which are fully pliable. Moving on to the fuel tank gas cap, fully mounted with the proper nuts and bolts to the fuel tank. No leaks, no cracks or illegal welds. No leaks, cracks, or illegal welds with the fuel tank as well. Also, we have the steps, which is securely mounted to the frame. We have it is clean and clear of debris, preventing a fall. So we're gonna move on to under the hood. We have the coolant reservoir securely mounted to the frame with the proper nuts, bolts, and clamps. It has the hoses connected to that, which is fully pliable, connected with the proper nuts, bolts, and clamps. Also, this is where I put my coolant in at. This is where I check my coolant level, which should be to the recommended line. We're moving over to the alternator, which is securely mounted to the frame with the correct nuts and bolts. I see no bare wires showing. It is fan belt driven with no less than 3/4 inch of play. Also, it is belt driven. Oh yeah, I said that with no less than 3/4 inch of play. Also, it is not frayed. Or about to break. No, the belt is not old, worn, and frayed, man. We got the water pump, which is also belt driven, no less than 3/4 inches of play. And same thing, the belt is not frayed, worn, or about to break. On to my radiator. These are my radiator hose. It is properly secured. So the water pump is properly secured to the frame with the proper nuts and bolts too. It is also belt driven. Proper nuts and bolts. Belt driven, no less than 3/4 inches of play. Radiator hose is connected to the radiator. It is connected with the proper nuts, bolts, and clamps. I see no leaks, no drips, and the hose is fully pliable. All right, cool. We're going to the driver's side of my truck now. All right, here we is on the driver's side of my truck. We're on the other side of the radiator, which is another radiator hose. The other radiator hose is properly mounted to my truck with the proper nuts, bolts, and clamps, and they are fully pliable. I see no leaks and no signs of damage. Boom. Next, this is where I check my oil at and make sure it's at the recommended line. This is where I fill my oil at. This is my power steering fluid reservoir, which this is where I fill with power steering fluid. This is where it is connected. First of all, it's connected with the proper bolts and nuts securely mounted to the frame. This is where I check my power steering fluid. This is where I fill my power steering fluid. This is where I check my power steering fluid, make sure it's at the visible line. These are the hoses, which are securely mounted with the proper nuts, bolts, and clamps to my power steering reservoir. The hoses are fully pliable. My air compressor and governor is up in here. It is securely mounted to my frame with the proper nuts and bolts. It is not damaged. It is gear driven with the proper fittings. This power steering gearbox is also mounted to the frame with the proper nuts and bolts. Securely, not damaged. The power steering pump is in here, mounted securely with the proper nuts and bolts, not damaged, and is gear driven as well. On down to my pippin arm, drag link, steering knuckle is properly secured with the proper nuts and bolts. And castle nuts and cotter pins is properly secured with a proper castle nuts, cotter pins. It is not broken, bent, damaged, or have any illegal welds. Over to my spring hangers are properly mounted and secured to the frame with the proper nuts and bolts. I see no damage, no illegal welds. It's not bent or broken. Here go my other spring hangers, same. Proper nuts, bolts, securely mounted, no damage, no bends, broke, or illegal welds. These are my spring leaves. I see none are missing, bent, broken, cracked, or illegal welds, which is held on by my U-bolts, which is holding leaf springs in place. Proper nuts, bolts, not bent, broken, or damaged. This is my brake chamber, properly mounted to the frame. Correct nuts, bolts. I see no damage. These are the hoses, fully pliable, connected with the proper nuts, bolts, and clamps to the brake chamber. And the slack adjusters, push rod, and keepers are held on by no less than 1 inch of play. There is no less than 1 inch of play in the slack adjuster, push rod, and the keepers. Boom. Back of my drums are showing me no sign of leaks, no sign of brake dust, indicating that I have a warped drum or busted seal. My brake pads are no less than 1/4 inch onto my driver tire. I see no abrasions, cuts, or gouges in my tire. The tire is at the recommended PSI of 110 pounds of pressure, the recommended 110 pounds of pressure. I see no illegal welds, dents, or no illegal welds, dents, or welds, dents, or cuts in my wheel, and I hear no air leaking. Also, same thing with my air stem. It is fully in place. I see no cuts, gouges in it, or I hear no air leakage. Also, here is my lug nuts. They are all intact. I see no rust or shiny threads indicating that I have a loose lug nut or broken stud. Here is my axle, wheel axle. I see no leaks. It is proper in place, and no leaks, proper in place, proper nuts and bolts, no damage. Cool. And I secured this area. I will be moving on to my cab next. Oh, before we move on, this is a multi-purpose light, amber of color, and it is mounted securely to the cab. No missing nuts, bolts, or no bare wire, and clean and clear of debris, fully visible. Moving on to my steps. It is properly secured to the frame with the correct nuts, bolts, and clamps, clean, clear of debris, preventing a fall. Cool. Right here, we got the proper handle on the truck. It is in a proper place, proper nuts and bolts secured, fully working, pliable, proper nuts and bolts, and secure. Same thing with the inside. Also, right here, we have the rubber seal that goes in the door. It is not dry rotted, fully intact, working order. Right here, and on the back of the truck, we have the cab handles, safety handles. They're intact with the proper nuts and bolts. And intact with the proper nuts and bolts. And intact with the proper nuts and bolts, securely mounted to the cab. That's right. Yeah. Now we are the same thing with the back. Now we are ready to move on. Yeah. To my mountain. Now we are ready to move on to the back of my truck. The catwalk is clean, clear of debris. So is my steps clean, clear of debris to prevent a fall or a trip hazard. The service light, the back of my truck, the frame of my truck is intact, no bends, welds, proper screws are mounted, bolts, nuts, and clamp. It is securely mounted. The cross members are securely mounted to the frame with the proper nuts and bolts. I see no illegal welds or damage. That's right, cross member, frame. Stairs, no debris, properly mounted nuts and bolts. Catwalk, properly mounted nuts and bolts. Cool. We also have the emergency line. We have the emergency line red, service line blue, securely mounted to the back of the cab and the front of the trailer. Both lines are pliable. They are coupled to it's coupled to the front of the trailer, mounted to the back of the cab, but it's coupled with the proper rubbers in between the glad hands, which is no broken or frayed rubber dry rot. Now you also got the service line, which is green, mounted, plugged into the back of the cab and the front of the trailer with no bare wire showing. Right. Now we got the back of the trailer. Well, we can go to torsion bar 1, torsion bar 2, torsion bar, and then the third one is in here, sideways, where the torsion bar, right here. That's the third torsion bar right here, which is mounted correctly with the proper nuts and bolts. There are no damage. There are no signs of illegal welds. They're greased properly, and they're mounted to the frame. We have the spring hangers, 1, 2, mounted correctly to the frame, proper bolts, nuts, no signs of damage. No signs of missing spring leads or broken or damaged or illegal welded spring leads. They are connected with the proper U-bolts, which is intact with the proper nuts and bolts and locked in the correct position. Brake chambers are 1, 2. Brake chambers are fully mounted to the frame with the proper nuts and bolts, no illegal welds. The slack adjusters, push rod, and keepers has no less than 1 inch of play. Moving on to The drive shaft is properly mounted to the U-joints and couplings with the proper nuts and bolts. I see no illegal welds. I see no missing bolts, no damage, and no bends. Also, going to, got that, got my spring leash, got my shock brake chambers. I got my shocks is in here. We got shocks on here too, which is properly secured to the frame with the proper correct nuts and bolts. I see no dents, no wet spots indicating I have a leak on my shocks. They're fully absorbable. Also, going back to the front of my truck, I missed my shock absorber on the front of the truck. It is securely mounted to the frame, proper nuts, bolts, and no wet spots indicating a leak or a damaged shock absorber. Also, my proper U-bolts and nuts are intact, no missing spring leads or no cracked spring leads. If I miss this, it's corrected to the frame. It's connected to the frame with the U-bolts is holding my spring leads together, proper nuts and bolts. Okay, now we are going to the front of my trailer. I see no damage. I see no illegal welds. My multi-purpose lights are intact, proper nuts and bolts. Not bent, broken, damaged, clean, clear of debris, and visible. My mud flaps are attached to the front of my trailer. No mud, clean, clear of debris, connected with the proper nuts and bolts. My apron is connected to the front of my trailer. It has no dents, no dings. It's flat, no holes in it, no illegal welds, and has enough clearance for turn. On to my, I said catwalk, clean, clear of debris. I got all of this out the way. I got this subframe connected to the frame, proper nuts and bolts, no illegal welds, coupling to the U-joint, and the drive shaft. I got my brake chambers, push rod keeper, and push rod keeper. It has no more than 1 inch of play. I got my hangers, spring leads, both sides, no missing spring leads, U-joints, nuts connecting those together. Okay. I got hang over to my tires now. I'm gonna inspect my tires. My tires are at the recommended 110 PSI for both tires. The front tires are, I gotta get back to the front tires. The rear tires are no less than 232-second depth of tread, not say seconds, 232 depth tread of tire on the rear. They're recommended at 110 PSI. Now, abrasions, cuts, or gouges in my tire. The valve stem right here is no cuts, abrasions, or abnormal wear, just like the tires. No sign, no cuts, no sign of leakage, no bends or illegal welds on my rim, no gouges in the rim. Same on the back and in the middle. And in the middle of my tire, but my rims are butted together. No welds in the back as well. Lug nuts are clean, clear. Lug nuts are all present. No signs of rust or no signs of shiny threads indicating a broken stud or loose lug nut, and no less than 232-second depth of tread. Also, on the front, no less than 4 to 32-second depth of tread. I already said my drums in the back. Now I'm gonna do the back of these as well. The back of these, on my drums, no brake dust or oil indicating warped drum or broken seal. Booyah. So then we got my airbags are fully inflatable with the proper nuts and bolts connected to my frame. No cuts indicating that they're bad. No busted, no leaks indicating that they're bad. They're fully inflated, aired up, inflated. Shocks, same thing as the front, fully mounted to the frame. Correct nuts and bolts. No leaks, no shiny stuff, indicating that one of my shocks has failed. Moving on to my fifth wheel. It is correctly mounted to my frame. The bracket and the fifth wheel is correctly mounted with the proper nuts and bolts. It's either fixed or adjustable. And if it was adjustable, it needs to be in a lock position. The handle to my fifth wheel is pushed in, which means that it's in the lock position, which means that my lock jaw should be around the shank at this moment, and there, like it is. And on my shank, there should be no illegal wheels, bends. Boom. My fifth wheel should have, the top of my fifth wheel and the bottom of my fifth wheel should have plenty grease so it can turn. Also, this is my third torsion bar. This is my third torsion bar. I put that on there. All right. My mud flap and my landing gear should have plenty room to turn, which it does. My DOT tape from the back, the front of my trailer to the back of my trailer is present and seeable. The wood on my trailer from the front to the back is there, it's present. Should have none sticking up. Should have no holes or broken wood from the front to the back. My bar should be from the front to the back. No illegal wheels, no damage on my bar. My tie-down brackets are mounted correctly to the frame or to the trailer, such as my sidebar is mounted to the trailer. Proper nuts, bolts, no illegal wheels. Same thing with this, no illegal wheels, no dents. Properly secure all the way down. All of my tie-down brackets. My landing gear is in the up position, fully in the up position. Is mounted to the trailer with the proper nuts and bolts, no illegal welds. It is fully in the up position. The gearbox is mounted to the landing gear. No, the landing gear is mounted. No, the gearbox is mounted to the landing gear with the correct nuts and bolts, no illegal wheels, no damages. The landing gear, the gearbox turn handle is in the lock position. Then we got our cross members from the front to the truck all the way to the back are none missing. None of them have no bends or illegal welds, and none of them missing. Same thing up here, none missing. No wood missing from the front to the truck, trailer to the back of the trailer. That's right, same thing. Moving on to the back. My tandem right here is in the lock position, which can move my rear wheels forward and back. The handle is in the lock position. My air tank, the wire is securely mounted, proper nuts and bolts. Lines are fully pliable. Tandem is in lock position. Here's my tandem. It's in the lock position. The handle is pushed in the lock position. And I will inspect these tires, same as I did the ones in the front. No less than 232 depth of tread. No illegal wheels, no bends. Make sure the back wheels are butted together. On the back, make sure the drums have no brake dust or oil indicating bad drum, a warped drum, or a busted seal. No wheels in the wheel. No abrasions, cuts, or bulges in the tire. No loose lug nuts. No shiny threads or no rust on the lug nuts indicating broke stud or loose lug nut. Axles and tight. Same. No leaks indicating bad axles. Bolts and nuts securely, properly secured. Same thing with the steering stem. No cuts and abrasions, no air leaks. On to the back. Same thing. Oh, multi-purpose light, which is red in color. ABS light, which is amber in color. Moving on back to my trailer in the back, which is DOT tape in place. Multi-purpose lights, which is red in color. The reason why it's multi-purpose is because you can use it for brake lights and turn signals. Now I will inspect this side of my trailer like I did the other side. Now I will inspect this side of my trailer like I did the other side. Now I will inspect this side of my trailer like I did the other side, and after that, I'll move on to my end cap. Okay, this is my end cap, which we're not gonna do today because I'm pressed for time. We gotta take Big Perm to a dealership and give Big Perm some maintenance going on. But I promise y'all on the next video, I will show y'all some end cap. I'm a little rusty, but we're gonna go through it together, y'all. We're gonna get through it. Let's get it.
Every day they can't ride my wave. Filling up the safe, they can't ride my wave.
$20 for the T, 200 for my J's. But that jewelry on my T, it cost me 60K. 2-day run on the road, it felt like 60 days. Soon as I got off that bitch, we ran up 60 blades. Instantly the prices drop out here, you know what's up with me. Hating niggas tryna shop, you know you don't fuck with me. Pull up, I take up 2 spots.
That's us in front the club.
We high, you not, you trash. That's worth the Bubba Dub. I know they don't like me. I'm gon' keep on put it in they face. I know they don't like me. I'm gon' keep on put it in they. I know they don't like me. I'm gon' keep on put it in they face. I got houses everywhere. Can't no bitch put me in my place. LV on me, GG on me, DD on me, ABC. 4G's on it, Candy on it. I love. Hey, Sugar Man. It's long overdue, nigga. It's yours truly, the big homie Baby. Tapping all the way in. We talking that yank, Nick. Gillette, Illinois, to the motherfucking world. Yeah. 901 Bike Life. Chicago was poppin', nigga, let's get it. A lot of y'all been hitting me up, wanna know how I've been doing lately. Hey, Sugar Man, we going down through that, nigga. Don't play with this shit, don't play with this shit, don't play with them, nigga. Big box Chevy rider, nigga. Skirt! Ah! A lot of y'all been hitting me up, wanna know how I've been doing lately. I've been doing great, crab legs and steak still on my plate, don't need your loving.